Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ Film Festival. We're about to start our 38th annual film festival, and we have some amazing programming this year. One of my absolute favorites is a film called Night Stage, which I saw at Berlin and really, really like. I'm going to read a brief description, and then we're going to talk to the co-directors and co-writers. By day, they perform for applause. By night, they risk it all. An actor and a politician start a secret affair and together discover their fetish for having sex in public places. The closer they get to their dreams of fame, the more they feel the urge to put themselves at risk. Please welcome co-directors Filipe Matzembacher and Marcio Reolon. Thank you both.
Hey, thanks for having us.
What a
Yeah.
pleasure talking to you. I met you both at the Queer Brunch, the queer event in Berlin, and I'm so happy that we're showing this film. I really, really liked it.
Yeah, well, it's our pleasure, really. We're very excited about the screening of the festival.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, tell me a little bit how this project came together.
Yeah, I think this is a project that keeps like the same path, I would say, that we've been working on related with this like a personal research regarding performances.
Hmm.
But for us, like we try to work with this concept of performance like in these two different ways. One in the literal, I would say, that's connected with the idea of like theatrical performance, like in a play, in
Yeah.
TV, and so on. But the other one is the social performances. So this is a concept that we've been working before in our previous films, like Hard Paint, our previous feature film was also about that in a way, but we always try to see in a different way. And this was, I think, was one of the seeds from this project, right, Marcel?
Yep.
This concept of how can we live double lives in a way that one is a performance guided by our desire, and the other one is guided by the social expectations, and also how can we fit in the social expectations that we are taught that we should follow. So this concept of how I should portray, behave, and that reflects on my the way I dress, the way people I desire, and the way I act to get this desire to achieve like this level of success. So this was something very important to us.
Yeah. And also, we really wanted to do a film about queer people dodging bullets and venturing the night, looking for sex and being in danger, but also killing and being horny and excited, and in the hopes that the audience would also feel in danger and horny and excited. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
Just talk to me a little bit about your two major characters. Is you have Raphael and then Matthias. I see me know what Matthias. Matthias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthias, yeah.
Yes. Just talk to me a little bit about those two characters and how
Mhm.
their lives crisscross and just their journey together.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's something that I think that's very beautiful about these two characters because they are very different. They're very different from each other. Like one is an actor. He's an out actor in the beginning of his journey of Matthias' journey. He's completely okay with his sexuality and so on. Which is completely different from Raphael because he's aiming in this political life. He wants to achieve like bigger like places, like bigger roles
Yeah.
in politics. So, but when they meet, they understand that they have some aspects of their lives
Mhm.
that can be shared, that are shared, and I think that's something very beautiful. Uh, they, as I mentioned, they are very different, but they have this connection that's connected by their desires. That's just word very important.
Yeah, when we were developing the project and thinking of these characters, we were watching a lot of noir cinema and new noir, and we always enjoy thinking of Raphael and Matthias as the femme fatale to each other.
Yeah.
They have all this seduction, but they also add this element of danger, and they can very easily lead to each other's ruin, to their destruction.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this was something that for us was exciting to develop through the script writing and later on to the shooting, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is something, and was also since the beginning of the like the seed of the idea. As I mentioned, like we wanted two actors to be the main characters. One is not a proper actor. One is a politician, which is also a way of performance and acting and so on. They politicians, they have their own stage and so
And
on.
they're public personas. This
Yeah.
to us was very appealing.
And I think that's something very nice. Like sometimes they are talking about their lives and so on, and they are talking as like two actors, even though one of them it's not. So I think this is something we are very, very fascinated about it.
Mhm.
It's so interesting because one of these characters is pretty out and open. The other one has to be, kind of in the closet, conservative. It's really it's so great seeing them come together and how they kind of meld each other. I mean, how do they change each other?
Mhm. Yeah, this is something very, very beautiful. I think like most of the most important relationships we have in our lives is like we see ourselves in this other person and we change little by little through when we're sharing this journey with this other individual. And I think this is something very beautiful about their journey. For us, is a journey about emancipation,
Mhm.
emancipation from social expectations. It's very dangerous journey. It's very risky, and they don't get everything they want, but they get what they need. This is
Exactly.
also something that for us was very interesting. Marcel mentioned we were like we love noir cinema, and we love like erotic thrillers, but in general, these subgenres they tend to punish their characters because of their desires,
Yeah.
and we wanted for our characters to like be free after
Yeah.
this journey.
We wanted this film to be a triumph of desire. That to us was important.
Yeah, so this was something that was very interesting. This they change because they understand that their desires shouldn't be compromised because how society tells them to. Yeah.
Can you talk about the balance of the film? Because obviously it's a very sexy film, and there's
Mhm.
great chemistry between the two actors. But this also works, with some political message, but also works as a thriller as well. So can you talk about how you sort of balance all that together?
Yeah, this was a very intense work, I would say, of screenwriting. But again, like something that we always we try to put in our process is filled with passion. So
Yeah.
we work with elements that we're really in love with, and I think they connected very well, even though they are very like they can go in different directions. We have this the political content of the film that's very clear. We
Yeah.
have the I would say even manneristic form of the film framing and so on.
Yeah.
And we have sometimes some hints to melodrama. All of these somehow they go in this seed also of the of passion that I was mentioned.
Mhm.
So it was something that we really could play with, and it was something that we were working since our previous films, but we were like developing little by little, right?
Yeah, and we really wanted to do to pay a homage to these American erotic thrillers of the 80s, 90s, like Brian De Palma, Paul Verhoeven, and but of course we also wanted to make this film our own. So we
Yeah.
want it to be queer and Brazilian and from 2025.
Yeah.
So to update this genre, but to something that made sense to us.
Yeah, and this was also a very fun process, like going back and rewatching all these like these wonderful films like Basic Instinct, Blowout, and so many others.
Yeah.
And they are so sexy and they're so funny as well. Like there's so much comedy in it, and then you can feel like the tension, you can feel the sexiness, and you can feel also like this comedic potential in it. That's something very fun and fresh. I would say.
Yeah, I think for us, like the key word, like for this balance that you mentioned, is to be playful. And
Yeah.
this sense of playfulness, I think, was very much alive in the cinema of that time. And it's something that for us, we really wanted to bring for the
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Okay, great. You two have worked on a number of projects together, series, short films, features. Just talk to me about the process of working together for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have been working together for 17 years now, so it's been quite some time. We met in film
Uh,
school. Yeah, and we started dating and working at the same time. And we were super young. Felipe was 20, I was 23 at
Yeah.
the time. So we don't know dating without working and working without dating. So it's one big mess. But
okay.
it works surprisingly well for us. I mean, like we do everything in a very collaborative way. We have similar backgrounds. We were both actors before becoming directors. I keep on acting till today. Felipe
Yeah.
retired
Yeah.
prematurely. But yeah, so I mean, like we try to do really, we avoid splitting tasks and we do everything together. And I think we talk a lot, we discuss a lot what we want to do. And so then when we actually go to it, we start making the film. I think like our solutions, our ideas, they are usually grounded on a similar terrain. It never happened that we realized throughout the process that we were making two different films. You know, we were always in sync on that. So it's quite organic, I would say.
Mhm. And there's something related to that that I think comes from our past on theater, I would say,
Yeah.
because we love long process and horizontal process. We love dialogue, so like we discuss a lot everything, and I think this really helps. So when we go to, for the shooting, for example, we already know like everything, so we are on the same page. We have the same universe in our minds, and I think that's the major point about making a film as a duo, and also as a with a big team as well. Like they also have very similar films in their mind, and I think that helps a lot to this collaborative process.
Yeah.
Hard Paint was obviously very successful for both of you. Congratulations. But how
Mhm.
did that project accelerate your careers?
Mhm.
Hard Paint was super important for us. It was really like it was a film that was very, as you mentioned, like very successful in with festival careers and awards and commercial releases. So it was, I think, fundamental to us. And however, like at the same time, like stepping into this direction of this film, we feel that now we start to move into a different direction that we had been going till Hard Paint. Hard Paint was a film that was still more grounded in a naturalistic, realistic, melancholic um atmosphere narrative, which was something that we were very into when we were younger.
Yeah.
However, again, I think we reached a moment in our careers, in our lives, maybe that we wanted to be, again, more playful. It's not that we are now addressing less serious topics, quite the opposite, actually. However, I think we started to understand that we can also talk about like relevant issues, but however through a perspective of lightness, you know, not necessarily being so dense, so heavy about it. And this sense of playfulness, I think it's a key for us at this moment. Of course, don't know if it will be like that forever, but that's the stage we are right now.
Yeah, I remember with Hard Paint, there is a very important sequence when the main character, like he fights with another character in closer to a stairs when they're, and then they fight, and it's a very tense sequence. And when we were shooting that sequence, we were so happy.
Yeah.
We went like we were going back home after that shooting day, and we were like, this was one of the most interesting and like exciting like working days that we had like since we started making films. So we said maybe we should go a little bit more in this direction. Let's play
Yeah.
with this thriller aspect of it. So
I
like,
think that was the moment that we realized that we wanted to do a thriller, like
yeah.
go more into that direction. And yeah, so I mean, like I think this film was also Hard Paint was very fundamental to us in that sense.
Yeah, and just to finish, also Hard Paint, it had that, of course, like a very successful like response in festivals and sales and so on. So it was a film that we received like messages still nowadays. Like But I would say that was also a big school regarding directing actors, which was something that we put a lot of effort on it,
Yeah.
and it was something very nice. I think it was a school in the sense as well. Like
Yeah.
we always learned a lot during our the making of our films, but I would say with hard paint we learn a lot this craft of right, like polishing the performance of the actors and so on.
That's great. So what's next?
What's next? So yeah, good question. We are actually like right now developing our two next feature films. Felipe and I, we live in Berlin at the moment. So, but of course, we keep our bases back in Brazil. So we're always like between Germany and Brazil. So we have two projects going on in parallel. One is a horror film to be shot here in Berlin. Of course, again, like horror, like our horror. So not like a conventional standard horror.
Yeah.
But in another one, it would be like a project to shoot in Brazil. We don't know which one will happen first, but we're kind of like are going in parallel, and let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. It was great talking to both of you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and thank you so much for sharing your film. I cannot wait for audiences to see Night Stage. It screens Saturday, September the 27th at 9:30 at Out on Film. Marcio, Philippe, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you again in Berlin next year.
Yes, we'll be here.
Yeah.
Bye bye.